What is up, y'all? It's your boy Aniki coming at you with another My Hero Academia Church of MHA stream, episode 25 of season 3. I don't know about y'all, but I'm excited. We left, was on break for a good 2 weeks, and we back in there. We in there like swimwear, son. So what we got to do is appreciate this. Let me drop this, let people know we live in the church. Because gotta have my people pulling up, getting a chance to be here. Let me know how y'all been doing. I know not everybody is gonna get to be here because this isn't the normal time. So I'm not gonna trip as much or like try as hard to get the perfect start with like 30 plus people in the chat. Hey, White Despair, Black Hope, Cameron Bailey, I can't believe you're doing this. And Jason Thomas, yes, I am reacting. The main reason why you guys wouldn't see me getting reactions on a lot of these days, or like when MHA would drop on these alternative weeks or alternative days, is because I was working second shift and I was working Mondays. So most of the podcast team would be at work during the day because most of them were first shifters. And you already know, like Sayez and Ponzu are all the way, 7 hours ahead of us. So they're in Germany, Belgium, respectively. And so it just didn't shake out too well. But now that I work first shift again, it's only like it's like 5:22 p.m. over here by me, or 17:22. So it's easier to do these reactions, just throw them on after work, and especially so when today I was working from home. So real good, real blessed. Glad that this worked out with the new place already. Hey, Tyler Hawk. Okay. Hey, what up? I see you in the chat, Fish, and I appreciate that compliment. What up, J. Michael Holmes? All right. So yeah, I'm gonna dive right into the chapter just because this being a later time means that there's a lot of people who would show up within the first 5 minutes of a stream that aren't gonna be able to do that, or might not get the alert because it's not the normal time or whatever. Make sure you drop a like on the stream though, just because it helps with the algorithm. And y'all know if there's one thing that YouTubers are consistently punished by, it is the almighty algorithm. So look out for your boy. Diving right into this though, My Hero chapter 366. And we left off at a real nice point. Once again, like I said last week, I took the gloves off and admitted that if Bakugo had died in 362, that I would have considered it trash. And I was just trying to be nice and see how it was playing out before I gave my final take on it, which I was glad for. But yeah, so gonna go ahead and dive into this now, especially because of the Tenko stuff that we were getting in the last chapter and how we kind of been building up to this familial payoffs. And I see that that's kind of where we're starting off with this chapter right away. So that being said, let's get underway. Tamura Shigaraki's body was groping around for its optimal form. That optimal form seemed to be a bloated mass of fingers seeking destruction, a form that overwhelmed the world around him and kept everyone at arm's reach. But the heroes bested that form. And so we're seeing how they've been putting work in on the fingers, breaking them apart. We can still see that he's got like the whole family kind of manifesting and popping out, in flesh puppet form. Thanks to erasure, he couldn't heal the accumulating damage to his body. That plus the stress and panic inflicting his mind gnawed away at his essence. All right, so we're basically starting this chapter off with, hey, we're going to be dealing with even more amounts of stress, character complications, etc. This chapter being titled Full Moon. It looked like it was kind of during the day when this raid went down or whatever, but when you think about like Aoyama being released from the police station, it kind of makes sense that this might have been something that started up at night. We'll see. We'll get further clarification once things get on and popping. But yeah, so Full Moon by Kohei Horikoshi. Whoa. And his body turned into a new ideal form for this particular moment. And now the hands are forming around his body and creating an armor and creating something similar to his original costume. Horikoshi said, I can't stop drawing hands. I will not be denied the opportunity to draw hands. And one of the things that I really like about his Shigaraki's face on page 2 is how it immediately reminds me of the hollow mask that Ichigo was wearing in the early phases, especially with the striation caused by the fingers over the side of the forehead by the eyes, or specifically the right eye. Eat this and die. And let's see, come in for a nice kick. Mirko, looking like, okay, now that I'm reading this a little better, got smacked hard as hell by Shigaraki. And then we see Sun Eater go Mirio. And it's looking like something's about to collapse in on Sun Eater. We see smash. What? Okay, Nejire launching an attack? No. And then him, is he just straight up throwing a bunch of rocks and shrapnel through her so that it doesn't cause any damage? Or so that he can just get the damage off without her being able to dodge? Knock it off. I now know that you have nothing. On my own, I'm not even worth this time. Damn it. Okay, so we see. So with that being said, that's kind of a buckshot that he launched at Nejire. So we might be leaning towards she's kind of riddled with holes right now type beat. I'm not going to swear to that. I'm going to see what's happening. Let's see. Taquito's hype. Yep, Thomas is in here. Denzel's in here. That one guy is here. All right. Tyler eloquently phrasing it as beating the heroes with hands of the family that abused him. I'm okay with Shuggy going full World War Hulk if you're referring to comics and not anything inside the movies. And then Shigaraki says, you don't get to fix what I already broke. That's clearly a defensive form, one that rejects everything. That's the conclusion you've come to, is it? All right, and we see Mirio moving in, trying to make something happen. His attacks aren't doing enough damage. You know, at the end of the day, while he is physically stronger than a lot of people, his quirk is not one that severely enhances his physical strength. We're kind of working with what we got here. Him being untouchable, but not being able to make others untouchable is kind of like this, which is something that had been mentioned and set up way, way back in the story. Like when we first got introduced to him and we saw how he was trying to save Eri, him not being able to protect Eri specifically and having to take the bullet for her because he couldn't make her intangible, just kind of was setting up and letting us know that anytime you got to a battlefield that somebody could handle more than his pretty, like decently above standard human strength, but somebody with like super enhanced durability, it was going to be an issue because he's not going to be able to stop them from being harmed. All he'll be able to do is survive. And that's kind of what Mirio's power is. It's like the ultimate survivor's power when trained to its maximum, but still not that ideal of a power for saving others. Kind of a fascinating way to go, but yeah. So we see that Genus has got a bunch of chords ready to go, trying to wrap up Shigaraki. And again, let's see, damn it, is this it? Nejire is laid out on the ground. Let's see, let me zoom in a little. Nejiri's on the ground. Bunny is in the tree. Sun Eater is collapsed and it looks like he's holding on to one of his left arm. So I'm guessing it's severely damaged. Genus is bleeding. Is this really? You'll make a fine hero. The future you saw for me, Night Eye. Getting some payoff with Night Eye references, which one of the things I've been worried about consistently has been Night Eye's vision being disrupted, but not entirely wrong, due to the fact that Eri is an anomaly and that she can keep rewinding things. So from my standpoint, us getting this Night Eye reference could be us building directly into us eventually getting back to the prophecy that's hanging over All Might's head and him potentially showing up here trying to save Deku or something like that. I think there's a reason why we didn't see how that beef was handled with the assassins off screen. So he might have himself an armor similar to the one that he had shown or had a flashback to and hinted at when he was training Deku during Culture Festival. And he was talking about how support gear couldn't really keep up with him. And he's got these armors now and they're compression based. And since we know that Bakugo had gear that was made with Condenium and that was part of why Deku couldn't get it, maybe All Might went ahead and also got himself an armor. He's going to try to show up and pull up to this fight and be a disruptor or distractor, similar to Gran Torino during Camino. And then we get that sacrifice, but it's going to be a little different because Shigaraki's not going to pull All Might to distract Deku and make him do it. He's going to finish the job himself just to get that satisfaction. That's something that we can look at as potentially happening with what we have here. Drop the electromagnetic barrier for just a moment. We got Mandalay's telepathy, just 2 seconds. Keep him busy for just 2 seconds. What? Why? No, wait. 2 seconds is an eternity. We see him breaking out of everything. What can I do that you have nothing, ignoring me? No, hang on. Right now, I need to keep his attention on me. But how? What do I even have in my arsenal? So keep smiling. A world without smiles and humor has no... And then, oh, full moon rising tonight. And Mirio goes in front of Shigaraki and moons him. Another callback to Culture Festival where Mirio showed up with Eri and said the peach was ripe and mooned them through a bush. Resorting to practical jokes to try to get through the situation. Validating the entire career of Miss Joke as a hero, by the way. I don't even know where to begin with that. Yep. This is definitely one way to do full moon. Yes, Mirio is double caked up on a Monday night, apparently. That's the world we live in. That's my goat. So we just gonna keep going. And then suddenly, just like Overhaul arc, and we see this double page spread of Deku attaching Black Whip and the fan theory that it was Star's boys looking out for Deku seems to be holding true because these jets are in the background. One of the things we had talked about previously on Church of MHA episodes and in streams was how, especially for the guys who were running with Star, the guys who dropped her off, who were fighting with her, every single one of them broke the law to do that mission. They straight up admitted that they were going to end up court-martialing her, that she was probably going to lose more than her hero license, which meant traveling to Japan would have led to prison time. All these dudes that you see bringing in Deku, they're like, what's one more felony? We're getting locked up anyways. We're going to get court-martialed anyways. And if anything, there's a chance that helping here stops them from getting extradited to the U.S. as heroes in Japan. So we'll see how that goes. That's just some political thing. Just like how Skycrawler working in the U.S. helps them not be in trouble, as much trouble in Japan. So, and then we see Deku arriving, Black Whip cast. Shigaraki sees him looking at Deku, looking at him, looking at him. And an instant slingshot smash with no delay that has Shigaraki spinning his boots, which leads me to believe that Deku might have been charging up some Fajin while he was on his way, especially when you look at the extra, like the steam, the cloud, all that seems to be coming off of him in this shot. Definitely looks like Deku was preparing that Fajin, so he might have been hopping from jet to jet, building up Fajin energy, and then boom, saw them right here and took that moment, seized it. Let me get the bishops in here. Let's get the bishops in here. Man. Is that Tanisha Greer? Hey, happy Monday. And we got Thomas. Let's see, it took them hours to get to Japan from the US. It took them 45 minutes to get to UA. So you got to realize, Thomas, that you just kind of pulled that number out of the air for 45 minutes. I don't think that the events happening at like this battle has actually gone on that long. at all. Hold up. It's Tanisha's birthday? It's Tanisha's birthday? Man, y'all showing love and y'all better be. Man, which of the bishops just got in here? Hey, Bishop Squid being the first in. Let's see. Yeah, see, based on this, I at most, 10 minutes. September 14th. That's what I thought. Like 5 minutes sounds a lot more reasonable than okay, we had to get that.
Hey, anyway, I've just been a little bit more busy recently. So, yeah, I haven't been nearly as available as I'd like to be.
Wait,
wait, what? What's going on?
okay, no, like you were kind of like real quiet and like faded out, so I wasn't sure if you were actually talking or if it was somebody in your background talking.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah, you sound better now.
Okay. Anyway, what I was saying was that I just haven't been as available recently due to me starting my master's. So, yeah.
So Master Squid.
Yeah, man, my master's in education. I don't want to be stuck here engineering for government my entire life. What do you take me for?
So you'd rather do education than engineering as far as on that realm goes?
Pretty much the idea is I want to be actual faculty for my university.
Get yourself a tenured position.
Yeah, man. That's the idea. Well, when you're tenured, you get to talk shit about government projects without them threatening you with losing your position. So that's the big one I want. Is the ability to have more freedom under that like tenureship.
All right, let's see. Oh, Squid. Yes, Squid is hitting the books. There's a panel in 345 with jets around UA and they disappear up until this point. Yep, that is true. So yeah, this looks like they sent the jets to get Deku and then he came back. Which I don't think this took more than 10, 15 minutes because they have to track him down, obviously, and then grab him and then turn back around or whatever. And with the UA fortress being consistently in motion, we don't know how far or how fast they were moving. But yeah, which the thing I like about this too is that this is Deku getting here before Bakugo is awake or active. Which means that when All For One gets there, is probably around the time where we get to see Bakugo getting active again. Am I making sense? Oh, look at that. Thomas, you better unmute yourself and give everybody a good welcome since, the queen died since the last stream, I'm pretty sure.
I don't smoke, so I can't smoke any packs, but I am happy. He's in a box in the fucking floor, 8 foot under.
Listen, we know you can't smoke on that Dada, okay? We don't give you like a 40 clover to the smoke on, okay?
Yep.
Grind that up.
East, you better pull up.
Yeah, it's great. Anyway, oh, by the way, I'm gonna update y'all on some stuff I've been watching lately. I finished the and I've been watching all of JoJo Part 6, like all 24 episodes. It's crazy. Like,
okay.
Bro, I was mad as hell, and I was hyped. It was wild, bro.
Okay, so but JoJo's Part 6, Part 2 is actually good, is what you're telling me?
I mean, I found it I mean, I enjoyed it, but I guess yeah, I liked it. I wouldn't say it's like amazing, but I found it consistent. Netflix fucked up the release cycle though. Like their actual management of how they deliver that shit crazy. I don't know. Like they be smoking crack. I don't know.
I get you.
Man, the queen died. Deku's back. It really is my week. Huh. It really is. Man,
I think you winning, Thomas.
I think I am.
Yeah,
We also got the
maybe
Chainsaw Man
like-
trailer too.
Yeah.
Oh, is that a almighty fish mix in the chat? And by in the chat, I mean in the church.
What is going on, fellas?
Hey, fish.
What's
Hey,
poppin'? What's poppin'?
see, it's good to have you here for this stream that we're coming back to. And not only that, not only do we have the ever crazy fish, because you be wilding, sir.
Listen, man, I'm the king of wilding. Okay, he like the clown prince of wilding.
That's
I'm
good.
the- I'm the
No,
king
that's
of
because
that
y'all
shit.
go to the same school of wilding. And we got Archbishop East in the stream. How you doing, East?
Hello.
Hello.
Damn, bro, we shaking his ass for the camera. That's wild. We can't even see that shit though. That's crazy.
This nigga East. So where do we begin? I think that's my first question. Where do we begin right now?
Man, we can do a rundown real quick, starting from the beginning of the chapter and kind of move through it.
You got them silent lamb type mask on, but
It's because because we kind of open with a hard confirmation, like, yes, the work people are putting in matters. Yes, Shigaraki's body is trying to adapt. No, it is not fully adapting to the paces that they're putting him through. Yes, erasure becoming undone can cause massive problems. No, we currently do not need to be afraid of that yet.
Mhm.
So as soon as Erasure's up, he's potentially going to start healing again. That was the first thing that came to my mind.
Yep. So the question is basically, do they get enough damage before erasure is up, where they can put him in a state similar to what happened during the PLW arc with his already ready body? Because think back. What's up, Squid?
Oh no! I was thinking something, but you were talking about that.
So yeah, because if you look back to that, he got hit with like a vanishing fist. He got hit with a full, Bakugo unloaded a gauntlet on him. He was getting smacked around with some pretty decent attacks before he finally got the erasure to stop. And even then, it still left a lasting impact because his body was like, all right, let me recover all this damage. Let me recover all this damage that he took. And then he started to fall apart. But we know his body wasn't fully ready back then.
Video game.
You said video game?
Video game.
Like,
Phase
which one?
one.
Like Final Fantasy, like
Oh,
Phase
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Phase two. Phase three.
Mm-hmm.
Phase one. Phase two. Phase three.
Oh, so you're telling me you like an Elden Ring boss or like Dark Souls?
Phase one.
Like
Phase
the
two.
one-
Phase three.
Basically.
So you guys think we could potentially see another form after this, or is it this?
Yes.
Is
Oh, definitely.
Phase one. Phase two. Phase three.
Like look at the second page where it's like his body turned into a new ideal form for this particular moment. We're gonna see another one.
So actually, I'd be willing to bet that we got 2 more forms to see.
I can see that.
And part of that is because Shigaraki's birthday is April 4th. Unless I'm tripping, his birthday is April 4th. So it's 4
It is.
4. And the reasoning for that is because for death, because you can count to 4 as each ni san yon or each ni san shi. And shi, which for those of you who read/watch One Piece at least know shi shi son son, which is Death Lion Song. So you got stuff like that, or the like, you know, for a second I was gonna say Shishirendan, but that's like the Lion's Barrage, but you get the idea that the Shi can be death or it can be four, and it can also tie into like a lion or whatever. So that's why there's Shi and Yon, and most of the time people say Yon because it's considered bad luck to speak of Shi, you know, like because then you're playing into the fear of death that the number 4 holds.
So we're in phase 2 right now.
Yeah, this looks like
Basically.
I'm excited to see if he does like take an offensive form next, since he's fighting Deku now. Like, this is gonna be crazy.
So, so I'm gonna be honest with you. It won't be popular to say this. This is the perfect time for us to cut away.
I agree, 100%.
Please don't say that.
I mean, like next chapter, we're most likely going to see the aftermath of the smash, them talking, and then they go for like the fight, and then we cut away, and then we constantly return back to there, depending on how Hori deals with the other battlefields, because we still don't know what's happening with Uraraka versus Toga, or Mina and Kirishima versus Gas Mask, or
even the spinner stuff. Yeah, you're right.
Yes, exactly.
And Hori's been way too stingy. With,
East, what do you have to say?
Look, you got to realize East was tweeting out his Joker gift today.
True.
Oh, you don't know. I pulled out my Horikoshi jersey, so be ready for later.
Oh, you put on,
I don't like that
you put on the number 23. That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
Look, okay, so I'm glad Thomas is saying it, because, like, you know, Fish, I know you were like, please don't. But then we were like, but look, though, look how stingy he's been. And you were kind of like, that's true.
Yeah, there's a lot going on that I'm really curious to see besides this battlefield. So even the Endeavor stuff too, I'm like, bro, what is going on with Endeavor and AFO?
Because AFO was just like, I can't fight niggas naked. Excuse me. It started robbing people on the battlefield. Whereas Endeavor stuck up there, like holding his child beating stump after, you know, going plus ultra, and he's sitting there like, I got to do this again.
So
Jiro's missing an ear. Tokoyami is surprisingly uninjured. I don't think that's staying the same after this.
That's a good point.
I should break my silence down. We got a story for y'all.
Let's hear these.
Story time.
It's called The Boy and the Cat.
Okay.
There's a boy, right?
Yeah.
Cat is sick at home.
Yeah, lame ass cat.
So what does the boy decide to do? Take his cat to the vet, as a good owner as he is. Him and his cat have been together for over 5 years. His cat was through his roughest of times, through his roughest breakups, going into high school to college. And this cat is still in his life. So the boy goes ahead and takes the cat to the vet. But then along the way to go and take the cat to the vet, guess what the fuck happened?
Okay, what happened?
It's 7:00 at night. The vet closes at 9, and it's on the weekend. Now the boy gets stuck in traffic. Some dumbass crash up the road. So now he delayed by a whole 40-minute stop. The vet is also another 30 minutes away on top of that. So he's going to be running crunch time. That's chapter 1. We'll come back in chapter 2 later. Just hold that.
Are you just drip feeding us stories throughout the streams then?
What do you mean?
I was so confused at the beginning. I was like, is this nigga trying to pull a Dr. Seuss or some shit? Like, damn.
Hold that thought. Silence back up.
All right. So look, in addition to that, though, we now know that depending on how this current round goes, it will influence the way Shiggy metamorphosizes again. Because this is, you know, body 2 is hands all over the body as plates, human heads for fingers, which is a real cool design choice, I'm not gonna lie, because he's got like a giant inflated left hand and a head for like a person's head and neck for each finger. So, you know,
Hori got the Mickey Mouse hands.
Hori went crazy with his pen this week, I'm not gonna lie.
He really did.
Which, if we're gonna get another form, it's gonna be a speed type form more than likely. And I say that because you have a base form that, you know, he started with that was just like, oh yeah, I'll make hands, stuff like that. You could look at that as an offensive form. I look at that more as like a wielding your power just wantonly, kind of like how for, you know, we got to go back to the Bleach well, which I know Thomas will appreciate this because you've been reading Bleach lately. I would say that the first stage we saw Shiggy in with his arm going all over the place, that's very comparable to when Ichigo was showing up with his Zanpakuto and people were like, whoa, that Zanpakuto is huge. That spirit energy, that must be crazy. And then you get the explanation from Ishin later where he was like, Captain Class Soul Reapers would be swinging around Zanpakuto the size of skyscrapers if he weren't more deliberate in the size and shape that it manifested in. And if you remember, part of why people were able to cut through Ichigo's original Oswachi or whatever was because it wasn't concentrated spiritual energy. It was just a big, like, puffy cloud. It was basically like soft. It wasn't focused or refined at all. And that's kind of how I look at that first body. So we're getting a defensive form. So yeah, like it's like that's like his big, I'm here to be big. You see that they just kind of like broke through his hands. It was bouncing through, you know, Ed Shot was able to make it explode from the inside, stuff like that. Whereas this form suggests that he's not, you know, taking hits as directly. You know, he's got hands blocking his jaw. Part of that, you know, ties into the way, like, you know, the hands could wrap around his throat instead, but it's like protecting features of his body that could be considered like sweet spots. Just like by having the hands over his chest, you know, he's adding an extra layer of ribbing more or less over his organs. So I kind of feel like he has to get the speed form involved here now because
his Tensa Zangetsu.
Kind of. He has to like get a little further condensed, drop some of those hands and focus more on like his just straight up physicality, maybe manipulate his legs a bit or something like that. But or maybe even like start using like his arm, like stretching it out, but like as a just straight up like tentacle, mirroring more like the Spider-Man approach that Deku's going to be taking to the fight. But I don't think he can fully dedicate himself to like an offensive state until we get to stage 4. And I think that's the stage that, because, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want Bakugo to get up right away. Well, now we have a round of this fight that's going to be Deku and Shiggy 1v1 for a while, most likely. And then as that fight turns a certain way, All For One can show up, and then we'll have like a 2-versus-1 with Deku, and then you get Bakugo in there, then maybe they split off or there's 2v2, whatever the case may be. Maybe we get Shoto in here because, you know, Ida runs him all the way here and Endeavor ends up confronting W along the way. We got some possibilities here. But I just want to talk about that speed type form, how we kind of, like, how do you guys see that being executed? Do you think it's just going to be like leg modifications, the approach to fight? Because he kind of looks like he blitzed Shigaraki in that last panel. Like, if we're being honest. Because they made eye contact.
Like, during the time when Deku was, like, charging up, where he was attaching himself to, like, the barriers, like, it seemed like he surprised them, and then he went straight in for the strike when Shigaraki was, you know, just turning his head a little bit.
It's like they looked at each other and he was like, and I'm kicking you in the face.
Especially because when you look at Shigaraki's body, he's all mangled. Like, you can see bits of the fingers getting peeled. His body's like twisting like a rag that you want to get water out of. And when Horikoshi draws his sonic booms, they tend to actually be representative of sonic booms.
Right now, he kind of looking like the clothes you would put like outside on like the clothesline, where you put it there and then you like squeeze the water out. Yeah, Thomas is spitting on that one.
Which obviously we know Shiggy's getting up after this, but the idea of him getting ragdolled like that for even a split second, after everything we've seen people throw at him, and while this is looking like a faux 100% smash that did this to him, it's still worth noting, like, oh, well, if Deku gets some solid hits in with that 100%, he is going to be able to ragdoll Shigaraki even in his defensive form. Which kind of makes me feel like the next chapter could actually be a bit of a Deku flex chapter.
I also think, we could potentially see Deku looking over to Bakugo, because Bakugo's not fully healed yet, seeing a hole in his chest and just freaking out immediately. I don't know.
A rampaging Deku versus defensive mode Shiggy sounds like based on what we saw this chapter, like that defensive Shiggy need in every drop of those defense points.
You're right.
All right. White Despair, Black Hope. I wonder how much longer the fight with Off One is going on for. It could definitely end quickly based on what the author has set up with Off One, Why Not Existence, Endeavor apparently being able to just one shot Off One right now. That's complete cap because the Hawks was just dick riding. That nigga not touching Prime Off One. I don't give a fuck if that nigga rewinding. Hawks couldn't even keep up with that nigga. After that nigga Off One speed blitzed everybody, went and took a quirk, put clothes on his naked ass body, and then Hawks came after. All that. And they knew he was rewinding. They was still too slow for that nigga. So like, and they used all their equipment. So ain't no one shot and Off One. They could not, they was already having trouble with that nigga in his weakened state. You think a Prime Off One, even if he rewinded? Nah, no sir. That's just Hawks. Oh, he can still do it. They ain't gonna land that shot. But to continue what White Despair Black Hope said, it's ultimately up to the author, but we just have to wait and see. Then he said, I wonder if the Jets will be taking part in this fight or if they're just going to go back to floating outside, fight on standby, going off how they already put back up the barrier and the Jets are outside as soon as they're going back on standby for now, at least. That would be the best bet because you keep the barrier open and you know exactly what happens.
Mm-hmm.
So
would you guys like chat? That's what you about to say?
Also, I'm looking at the chat a bit too, just reading what people are saying. As far as Genus leaving Bakugo unattended, that's kind of irrelevant because Ed Shot's the one doing the real repair work. Genus was kind of on like security duty with where the surgery is now. That's part of why once Ed Shot got in there, it was like, yeah, everybody can be sacrificed to try to keep Bakugo alive, which I kind of wish Charnage was here just because we had both talked about it. And I think we talked about it all, as a collective though, where I was like, the issue with Bakugo going down here is that if he stays down, there's no excuse for anybody to live unless Deku's here. And we immediately started seeing that this chapter. It was like, oh, you guys are trying, which is another reason why I'm like, no, this stuff is happening like real quick. Even them saying like 2 seconds is an eternity is to let you know this fight probably been going for like 5-10 minutes tops.
Mm-hmm. Stretch made a really good point. The hands on his body open up and turn their wings, give him the ability to fly, plus an amp in speed and mobility, methinks.
I'm with that. Mm-hmm. Especially because one, we don't actually have enough Naruto references in My Hero for as much as people call it Naruto. Like, let's be real. As much as people talk about
Naruto because the green and the yellow fight and Naruto the blue and the yellow fight, so they're the same show really.
Shoto is basically Sasuke because Endeavor is Itachi.
And Bakugo is also Sasuke and, and Shoto is Gaara because Enji is
his dad that
Enji is Orochimaru. Yeah, sure. Exactly.
But damn, I forgot where I was going with that point as before
You're talking started. About how AFO gets no bitches.
I don't think that was where I was going. AFO definitely was.
It was about Bakugo being on the floor. Oh,
yeah, you were talking about that little 5'6" Pomeranian ass thing.
No sense in Bakugo dying, which means everyone would die or something like that. And
yeah. Okay. So, but like when you look at that stuff, it's like if Bakugo goes down, and this chapter kind of affirmed. That's why I'm like, this all happened. Because when you look at Bakugo's injury, the next chapter has about 4 pages on it. We go away from it, then we come back to it for like another 4 pages, and then we're here. There's a certain amount of like space, the story, like quickness that the story did not spend to show you like this is all happening pretty quickly, where it's kind of fair to say that we're kind of playing into the everybody has to keep like the main characters alive, but also Shigaraki going through these transformations and dealing with these stressors is kind of like, once again, the Shonen MC type effect, because he's being like the Sasuke. If you remember that Sasuke had the hand wings at the Battle of the Valley of the End during Naruto Part 1. Mm-hmm. So which East can take that as more fuel for his part 2 agenda if he wants to.
Oh, don't worry. I have something very good. I have a very big trump card for that later.
Because everybody knows I'm pro the UA center falling, collapsing, being damaged, becoming rubble, however you want to phrase it, to ensure that
Man, fuck that school, bitch.
It
ass
looks
school.
like the 2020 Tokyo Olympic Stadium, because that was referenced during Sports Festival for UA. But 2, it just makes sense for it to eventually fall out of the sky. I just don't see it getting to last. It's just all the talk about it being a giant coffin. Feel like that's got to come into play and apply to more than just one person.
Happy belated birthday, Tunisia. Happy birthday!
And don't forget, Joseph Shiola had his birthday yesterday, so make sure y'all giving him a church
Happy
of
birthday,
birthday.
big
Listen,
dog.
all y'all,
Shout out to him.
listen, all y'all better show him love. Otherwise, I'll personally come into your house and suplex your dumb ass on everything, bro. Don't fuck with me.
You will.
Hey,
So I think it's time. I think it's time now
oh,
for chapter 2 of The Boy and the Cat.
Oh,
All right, let's go.
Now, does everybody remember where we left off in chapter 1?
Okay, so the boy was traffic and like 30 minutes away, he was out.
Yes. If you can't hear Squid, he said the boy was stuck in traffic, 40-minute delay. It takes 30 minutes to get there. That's over an hour, and the vet is about to close. The vet is about to close. All right. So guess what the boy does next? He thinks, man, why don't I use the Waze app to figure out a safer way and a faster way just to get to the vet so I can save my cat? All right, because I really don't want my cat to die of this illness, and because it could be really bad for his cat. And it's going on to the weekend. So guess what he decides to do? He decides to take the Waze app and he finds a shortcut, y'all. Luckily, woohoo, hooray, hooray! He finds a shortcut that saves him time and he can get there in 30 minutes now. Once again. So guess what happened? On the way, doing his shortcut. Now guess what happened? This nigga get a fucking flat tire, and he got absolutely no fucking spares in his trunk. That's crazy. All right, we'll come back in chapter 3.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, man. Thank you for that part.
all right. So to progress through the chapter, talk a bit more about this. Part of why, like I said, I was like, I don't know why people want Bakugo to go down here because Deku's not here yet. And we spent like the first 6 pages of this chapter kind of explaining why that's terrible. Because what happens? We see Sun Eater getting folded, looking like he's having an existential crisis over what he's about to get hit with. We say Nijire getting buckshot. We see Mirio getting ignored because if Shigaraki doesn't care if he can't kill him, he can just kill everybody around him.
Zero is now like a half death.
And Jean is trying to fight. Now, my question is, of the people we saw Shigaraki smack this chapter, interact with, who are you actually seeing to contribute any more to this battle?
I'm gonna say
no one for me.
maybe I don't know. Tamaki might have like a panel or something.
Tamaki definitely out for the count for now.
Yeah.
He already had his moment, and that nigga got his ass knocked in the next week. He got full on fucking rock. Miracle's in the fucking tree.
It looks like she got impaled by a branch.
Yeah,
or at least that's
she gone. Gina's gonna fall back. So Mira the only one that's actually got any goddamn way to. And they'll probably
he's the last one standing.
They probably just gonna get niggas off the battlefield, which is what I do because at this point, it's clear that we're all washed. Shigaraki's still going. And even new form, and now Deku's here. Just let Deku take that one because you've already all gotten your asses beat. You can't keep up at this point. You can try some distractions, but guess what? That worked as a full team. At this point now, nah. We all washed the fuck up.
They fell off.
Like there's going to be no distraction because they're not gonna be like, you just seen what the distraction approach happened when he had no clear body to, I'm gonna take this person out specifically. Nah. Now with him focused solely on Deku, he wasn't worth his time before. Don't even think you worth the speck of a millisecond at this point.
And that's going to be the thing that, because we know that, and I know people, now that Deku's here, we get time for Bakugo to recover and slowly recover at that. But 2, you realize this man's going to charge back into the fight saying Deku was bait again, right?
Most likely.
Wait,
So-
say that again. Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Bakugo's gonna call Deku bait once he gets back into the fight.
Basically.
Which that's why I kind of just need AFO to get where he's gonna go, because I really am pro the 2v2 at this point,
Mhm.
or the 1v2v1, depending on
Me
how
too.
it all interacts. Because I can see AFO kind of being like, I am back in my prime though. But I could also see him like being a willing sacrifice. So it'll be kind of interesting to see what happens, because he could just go to Shigaraki and be like, I'm disappearing anyway, so take every quirk in this body right now. Which to me is probably the ideal situation for what he would be doing here. But we all agreed like nobody else is getting back up. Mirio will stay active. Genus didn't get hit, so he might still do something.
They might as well just play support and get everybody off the fucking field. These niggas are finna throw fucking blows and start shockwaves are finna start flying. So yeah, y'all couldn't keep up before. Y'all damn sure ain't keeping up with a nigga on this level. So go sit down. You could, hey bro, you couldn't hold a nigga for 2 seconds and you said that's an eternity. Yeah, nothing you was doing before was stopping this nigga. Now just like I said before, y'all had something.
Just go.
Before y'all had something. Now y'all all washed and you got injured bodies on the field. You need to go ahead and take those niggas off because it's gonna get real dangerous. Because you could guess what? If he even tried to hold Shigaraki for a millisecond with those little wires, that's not doing shit. He couldn't do that shit before. Now Deku in the mix too. Like, all right, nigga.
And also, it's a small detail, but I like how actually kind of hulking the defensive Shigaraki is.
Oh, how big he is?
Yeah, it's most visible when he like when he's charging past Mirio for a bit.
It's also visible when you look at where he smacks Mirko and look at the size of Mirio, like against him. It's like he's doing like 3 times the size.
Yeah,
Bro, when he was chasing after, he was running towards Genus, I was like, oh shit.
yeah, like he looks like, you know,
He's-
like
he's-
Abomination or something.
He's literally in tank form,
Right.
but I'll address that later because that comes all into play. But anyways, all right.
I'm really surprised none of y'all said anything about, well, more so about Monoma, because as soon as, Erasure's over, I really don't see Deku hanging with Shiggy when Shiggy gets his quirks.
I have
Like,
my piece to say on that, but I'll wait.
So I had to double check this real quick, and this form is kind of reminded me of Frieza's second form.
Actually, let me look up Frieza's second form.
Yeah,
And
me too.
then,
I haven't seen it in a while.
yeah, no, because it's been irrelevant for a really long time. And then,
Is it the one with the massive ear, not ears, horns?
yeah, so the second form is the one where he's got, well, I wouldn't say that's the one with the massive horns. I would say the third form is the one with the massive horns. The second form is the one where he looks like Cooler almost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I'm looking at it
Look at it
right
right
now.
now.
Because he's like
You're
big,
right.
bulky. And then form 3 is the one where he got the long head,
Mm-hmm.
which that could easily, with the way Shigaraki's hair has been growing, will probably have his hair like back at some point and it'll look similar to this. Because I'm thinking that his forms are going to be big, you know, kind of goofy looking like this one. And then it'll, you know, recompact down like final form Frieza is. And maybe we'll get Black Shigaraki. No, I'm kidding.
All right. So
The final form will be that form anyway.
all right, y'all. So time for chapter 3 of The Boy and the Cat. There are 5 chapters, by the way. The 5th chapter is the epilogue and the ending, where everything comes. Let me not spoil that. All right, chapter 3. Do we remember we left off with chapter 2? The flat tire, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now we got the boy has a flat tire. Tom is running out to get his cat to the fucking vet. His cat is dying. His cat is sick, right? This motherfucker hit a flat tire. Can you believe that bullshit? Why is this happening to this dude for no fucking fan reason? This nigga's cat is dying. What did he do to deserve this so fucking terrible luck? Nah, guess what starts happening on top of that? It starts fucking raining and thunderstorming, dog. The weather forecast said
damn.
nothing about this shit, son. Now it's fucking storming and shit. All this bullshit going on. It's like, bro, now we stuck in the rain. Niggas passing us by. We got a fucking flat tire. Bro, oh my God. This some bullshit, right? Grade A fucking bullshit. Now, guess what happens after this? Now, his luck is on his side. So guess what? A stranger starts by for like 20 minutes, and now they decide to give him, hey, man, we're going to help you fix your tire in the rain. Can you believe that? Good Samaritans still exist to this day, y'all. No worries, Spectrum. We'll get there. To this day, Good Samaritans still exist. So they help him fix up his tire, patch up the tire. You know what? It takes about another 30 minutes. So now we really running short on time to get to the vet, bro. We really running short on time at this point. So now we start speeding, we running, okay. He starts taking off, bro. I'm talking about damn near drifting. This thing like on some Fast and Furious shit. Except he not Paul Walker or Vin. So guess what the fuck happened? As he's speeding to get his cat to the vet, this nigga swerved and he fucking crashed into a pole. This shit don't end for this nigga, bro. He just trying to take the cat to the vet, bro. Just trying to take the cat to the fucking vet, bro. It don't make no fucking sense. So now, guess what happens after that? He starts saying, fuck it. You know what? I'm going to take my cat to the vet one way or another. I don't need a fucking car. He starts booking it. He takes the cat, and they start running through the rain to the vet. Now, that's the end of chapter 3. We're going to close out on the finale of chapter 4 when we get back. Remember everything up until this point.
So,
hold on. I'm shouting out Chris Brown, who came through with the super chat.
That's
shout out the real
singer.
MVP, Nato Monema. No, I'm pretty sure this is a different Chris Brown that I've known for over a decade.
Oh damn! I thought that was a nigga that was whooping. But anyway,
that's crazy. All right. So with the chapter, right? The MHA chapter, not the story East is telling, although it's very interesting, right? So I'm looking at this, right? And I just want to point out that, Mandalay, been super like low-key underrated because she's just been like their main line, kind of like communication between fronts. So, a lot of people are being utilized even if they're not on the combat field. Yeah.
Oh, so I do feel like we got to give Mandalay props here.
Absolutely.
Because yes, as a communication specialist, it is her job to communicate. But also, it would be totally fair if a person who was watching all of this unfold happened to shit their pants and forget how to communicate for a little bit. I don't know. Maybe that's just a controversial take that I had.
You know how many grown-ass men can't communicate? Like, legit, just, like, say words and shit? That's crazy to me. Well, it's a lot of motherfuckers, man.
Dog, look, I'm going to tell you an important secret, Squid. One of the things that I learned back in the day was that a person who was willing to say that communication was a big deal often suffered from communication issues. They were secretly talking about themselves the whole time. It's weird. So like when I see people bringing up like how other people can't communicate online anymore, I'm like, nah, bro. I bet you can't communicate either. Because a lot of people who bring that up can't actually communicate.
Oh no, I know. I'm a straight asshole online. Like that's the thing. But like for me, in general, this is just something I've learned throughout childhood is if someone tells you that they aren't something that normally that you kind of like immediately think, that chances are they are going to be that thing. So whether it's communication or, other things,
Mm-hmm. But
so,
I want to get back on track.
Never get
blackened. Okay, so Mega Karibo, that is something that I think is true. I think that if it's not super visibly raw, people don't appreciate it always, or if the power levels involved in the moment aren't high enough for the verse, it doesn't count. Which I don't think there's any series that this hasn't been impacted by as far as like the action junkies go. Because like, let's be real, I think we could all think of at least one like big moment in a series that we're like, yeah, that was a great fight. That was raw. That was cool. But it wasn't like a top tier fight. It wasn't two top tiers going at it, or it was something clever done to make it interesting and engaging. It's like when everybody got excited about the Black Clover fight with Magna in the last arc, because it was like, wow, all right, you did something useful with Magna after like 200 chapters of neglect.
Ever since the first major arc of the series. That's cool.
Yep. And yep, it definitely applies to all the big three because, for One Piece, a lot of people love Senor Pink versus Frankie. Not even close to one of the top tier battles, like as far as power levels on Dressrosa. One of the most beloved. For Bleach, I'm trying to think of one for Bleach because I think a lot of the best fights in Bleach are genuinely tied to Ichigo. But
right.
I'll also say,
Ichigo versus Okuara was pretty cool.
Noitra versus Kenpachi.
Yeah, that was pretty nice.
Because it was like
1,000-Year Blood War. Kenpachi fought one dude. He had like a bunch of gifts. Wasn't his name like Gerald?
Gerard? Grammy.
Yeah, that man.
The imagination. Yeah.
He was like, wasn't he called the Gift? Because he
that
dude, hollow power.
Gift was a different dude.
No, wasn't his name like Gerald or something like that? Like Gerard?
Oh, you're talking about the Miracle.
Miracle.
The Valkyrie, yeah, that guy, Geralt, I believe it was.
Yeah. Lame ass name, bro. No wonder.
Yeah, nigga built different though, so.
Bruh, that dude was wild. Just like power level wise, it was like, all right, this is OD.
All right, so.
But
all right, so.
So, how do y'all feel about this Night Eye thing, though? Because
the mirror is shaking his ass.
Well, that's one way you could go for it. But what I was gonna say is how do y'all feel about Mirio kind of being like, wait, Night Eye, you saw me being a great hero and this shit was coming? You ain't tell me about this? Which that makes me feel like one day, like not what Night Eye saw in the future was like Mirio helping like a child across the street or something. And he was like, yeah, Mirio's getting his quirk back. He's gonna be a great hero. And didn't see none of this, but
he could have sneaked in while he was dying, and you'll act like an idiot in front of.
Hey, listen, bro. Sometimes you don't need to be
further into the future
to be a hero, okay? Listen, twerking, that's a hero, okay?
Wait, where are you at?
Squid vanished. He's being abducted by aliens.
Wait, did you go down to the basement?
I kicked Squid out, sorry.
Oh wow, that's crazy. No, I'm still here.
Oh, okay. Hi.
I was just saying that, OnlyFans creators, those are some real heroes, okay? Think about how they stimulate the economy. Mirio's doing some real work here.
Yeah, right.
I liked it. I thought it was rather wholesome overall. And it was a lot of things.
See, okay, because my thing with is that I personally feel like, and it's been a thing of contention throughout the fandom and the story, is like, did we completely break the futures Night Eye saw or not? Because I feel like we've kind of somewhat steered away from directly addressing Night Eye too much in the story lately. And I don't think it's a coincidence that Hori is bringing up Night Eye's visions for Mirio in a chapter where it's like, this is going really bad for me, like as far as Mirio's concerned. And so that's why I was kind of talking about, we know that the future foresaw was All Might dying if he tries to be a hero. Are any of you expecting All Might to try to get active and get murked by a villain?
Yes.
Yes, because that nigga already said he not standing by. He said he gonna crawl through the mud, do all this extra goofy shit. Oh wait, hold on. Let me watch what I say before I spoil before I go off my tangent.
Mm-hmm.
One of the biggest factors of this is they also have Skeptic and Kurogiri and the Nomu. So you asked the question before, how do people find out who is at and what you would call it? Skeptic's going to be going from location to location, and he's gonna know where they're operating from, and he's gonna attack that place too. That's child's play. The Skeptic hacked back into his own network. They try to lock him out of. He can hack into the network for the headquarters and scramble everything he needs to scramble. So All Might is gonna try to go ahead, get active, and be foolish and goofy. This is in his character. Just like how Deku not supposed to do shit, but he still do shit. All Might the same fucking way. Bogard already said they just like them niggas is reckless. They don't listen. They hard-headed, stubborn, and they won't stop fighting. After that speech by Stain, them niggas won't stop fighting. So All Might
Who do you see All Might going up against then?
We already know.
AFO?
We already know the answer to that. They'll. I'm curious to see if they meet. That's the question, and we know it'll be Shigaraki. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's undeniable. Those two have to meet some way or another at this point, especially. So now the platform is possible again up on the table. All right, but at the same time, once again, it's like, now. Does he get to see All For One? Because I really I can't wait to see this dedicated expression when they find out. All For One just rewinds to his prime state. I really can't wait to see All Might's expression. That's what really might tick that nigga into doing something. Because that really might edge that nigga out. Because now remember what Tyler and Fig and Sixer had said to me once again. Deku being here don't change shit else on any other battlefield. This
that was
just
something we talked about.
Yeah, this just alleviated pressure
really like.
on this. This would alleviate pressure on this battlefield. That means nothing. This could Deku made a comeback. That means nothing for any other battlefield. That doesn't mean Ox and them got a one up. No, it's the villain spinning the block back. Dobby just went Super Saiyan. And I recall, reread those chapters. Recall, Shoto couldn't keep up when Dobby was just bodying him on a regular basis. He let his speed past all the help he had, then started punching that nigga, beat him into the ground while they were flying, and then he got back up again. And then when he used phosphorus the first time, Dobby instantly was like, okay, oh, you got some moves, okay. He wasn't pressured. He went back and did something again. And then Shoto admitted he would have got smoked out by Dobby's fire had Burning them not all sacrificed themselves. I'm like, oh shit, that shit could have actually got me. And then when you thought Dobby was down, which I knew something was fishy there, then all he did was he didn't get caught off guard. He was just trying to fucking do the same move Shoto did. And then he mastered it. So he just went Super Saiyan above that. So you think Shoto can't keep up his phosphorus form and beat Dobby before him when he had his support? What do you think happens now? And Ida is not a factor in they can tag team. Ida's rotors were shutting out when Dobby was just doing regular flame tornado, when he wasn't gassed up, when he was just chilling. Remember, the more excited he gets, and the more his emotions rise, the hotter his flames get. So those were at regular basis. That's before he got agitated, before he got gassed up. Now he really feeling himself. So now they're even more hot than before. So that Ida's whole rotor thing is not much he can essentially do. So once again, they're not up to standard. I'm not even gonna talk about the other battlefields because that comes into play what I got to say later when I go off. But y'all got the floor again.
This man.
Oh my god.
All right. So, but we all in agreement.
Oh, by the way, I checked. Hold on, wait a minute. I checked on the on the volumes. Nah, this man's name was Gerard Valkyrie.
There we go.
Miracle.
Okay, we knew it was Jay or something. So, all right. But now, okay. Out of curiosity, how do we feel about Mirio trying to resort to comedy to get through this situation?
Hey,
I'm in the middle. I don't
listen. Honestly,
I admit I laughed.
Listen. I'm gonna put it like this. I either hate it, nor do I love it. I'm just okay. I'm hey, bro, Hori, stop. Put the pen down, Mirio, bro. They relax. Cause honestly, you could have had niggas tell a joke or bulk and pose and ooh, sexy man, something like that. But you had a nigga tooting his ass up.
I hated that shit.
I did all right, bro. That nigga really tooted his ass up. I'm all right, bro. Okay, man. That nigga really tooted his ass up. That's crazy. I be shaking my ass for women. But
the look on his face is amazing.
It'd be different if he was tooting his ass. You know what? I can watch this. It'd be different if he was tooting his ass to survive, but technically he was tooting his ass to survive. You feel me?
That's deep.
You feel what I'm saying?
I really would have preferred he just said a joke or something, or mentioned how he doesn't have friends or something. But I don't know. I've been seeing. I talked about this on Twitter briefly, and I was getting into an argument with someone, and they tried to bring up, well, in Naruto he used the harem jutsu, and this isn't Naruto, and I didn't like that shit either. So I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't make sense, But there was like a plethora of other things he could have done in this moment. I would have
like I would be different. It was like a Japanese, old school Japanese joke that we didn't get. Because you know how you watch old school comedy, that shit don't hit, but the old heads find it funny or it's like really popular. And like they had pulled like an old Japanese reference joke like that. You know, that Caleb would have had to come and explain. It'd be a little different. But he was just shaking his booty. And I'm like, all right. I ain't like, what the fuck? But I'm just like, all right, man, you know, okay.
I do think Shigaraki's expression kind of made it a lot better for me because he did have a little chuckle, like a to it. I know that it would make sense in Mira's character, but just because it makes sense doesn't mean it's a good thing. At the same time, it isn't a situation where I'm going to drop the manga and go, oh my god, this is trash. Hori he is falling off. He's the worst manga can jump right now. One Piece of Black Clover better. No. I what made it even better, or at least digestible, was the Deku part. Like once you flip, it's like contrasting, right? It's like you have this really funny moment and then you flip the page and you see, you know, Deku in the background. I don't know. It's whatever at this point.
Okay. Because I don't know.
Sorry, I'm in the minority. I know I enjoyed it, and I know I find a way to enjoy most things. But in MHA, I don't think humor is ever its really strongest point. Like I compare it to like other manga, like Spy Family, where when they have Anya focused chapters, I'm rolling. Like I think Spy Family is probably the funniest manga in Jump right now.
Agreed.
When I compare that, when it's at its best, at least. But when I compare it to MHA, I know that MHA's comedy is like unique, I guess. I don't think it's amazing, but I was looking at this and I didn't really think about Muriel making a joke for like us to laugh or anything. It's literally like he was reduced to doing that because of Shigaraki being who he is. There's really nothing Muriel could do to help, and that was like really obvious. So you know what? It was just funny to me seeing how he's like super desperate. Like his face is tense. The moment for him is super tense. And he is just giving it his all, shaking his ass. And I'm like, I'm sorry, that's funny to me. Like,
you're right.
He can't do anything else, but he's doing it. He's giving it his all. And
I mean, if you're constantly being ignored, you might as well shake your ass.
I'm gonna help everybody before Aniki go.
Jesus Christ.
Before Aniki go, let's just to give everybody this. I'll help y'all spin it so y'all can digest it better. All right. Shigaraki's so strong, he made niggas shake their ass. Literally. There. That's a better way to look at it, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
See, okay. Look, Tanisha put it in an eloquent way. She said something like, "My ass is grass at this point." So my thing is that okay. So this is a good way to put it. Like somebody was like, he doesn't have projectiles or super strength or anything. All he could do on his own is and joke and takes more than 2 seconds. And I'm like, so one. Like I mentioned when I was reading the chapter, the mooning circles back to Culture Festival where he was showing up with Ari, and then he was like, the peach is right. It just was mooning them through a bush. And we know that like when Muriel's card comes up in the anime, it's like, what are some things he likes? Ramen and comedy. And we've always had this kind of philosophy in the background of the story, like the strongest are always smiling, the strongest are, you know, don't stop laughing. And so this moment also kind of serves as like a bit of a tongue-in-cheek commentary on that, where it's like, okay, but how far can you really take this ideology before it doesn't work?
Yeah.
Like Muriel is cracking jokes right now because he is not the strongest on the battlefield. And so it's like strength and smiling were never together. It was more about like overcoming against certain things. Either you got that dog or you don't. And Muriel might not have like the power and stuff to do this, but him being able to say, I'll make this joke right now, is him having the dog. He just ain't got the power to match the dog.
He got the dog.
I think one of the biggest issues with Mirio as a character, especially in My Hero, is that Hori doesn't know what he wants to do with him right now. Like when Mirio returned in the last war and he got his quirk back, he came back, he had his serious moment, and he started cracking jokes. He started yelling, "I need help." And it was really disappointing to see because the last time we saw Mirio in action, it was in the Shihai Hisaikai arc, and you see him being all serious, and he even loses his quirk to save this young girl who just needed to be wrapped up and kept safe. So when we saw Mirio return in this war, and him, striking Shigaraki with that MHA wave motion charge punch, it kind of felt like a redemption for him, because we were disappointed with what he did in the last war. He just punched normal. We have best genist. He cracked a few jokes. So to see this again, it's like it's expected because this is Mirio. He's keeping Night Eye's ideals so close to his heart that it's like, yeah, I'll crack. Like if I'm getting ignored, I might as well just shake my ass. Who's gonna not ignore a man shaking his ass? But at the same time, it's just disappointing.
So like I'll say this again. It's not even it's the point is that Mirio is like a goat ass nigga. And like I said before, MHA doesn't have that typical anime. It should have followed like if MHA was built different, it would have had a typical anime trope of like if the goated character and like when this nigga show up, it's over with. Like most animes have that character. It's like, yo, we in the arc, we down bad. Fuck, we already gassed out. Yeah, y'all niggas can't beat me. But that one character step on the scene, they got that shit. That nigga never miss, ever fucking miss. And that's what felt like. It's kind of like, we talked about that. Like if the series had took place with the first user and all them, and then you place Gran Torino right there, he would have been that nigga that never missed type character, right? So with Mirio, he was kind of supposed to be that nigga that didn't miss the way they gassed him up, the way he showcased himself when he got his power back. The thing about Mirio showing up is not that he asks for help, it's the way he asks for help. Like if he had braced himself for like, fuck it, I'll take these niggas on type beat, like I'll do what I gotta do, type beat, and then they came and saved them and backed them up, it'd have been like, okay, Mirio still kept his dignity intact, but then he shows up, goat moan for 2 seconds, then just to reel it back, like, oh, help. It's like, all right, you just kind of just killed the shit. It's like imagine a cool ass nigga, leather jacket, 6 foot, he got the shades on, tatted up neck. You think he a gangster model? Oh, he put a Ferrari. What does he do? He's so mysterious. He's so interesting. He's cool. He got the music playing. He got the vibe. He got the hose. And all of a sudden, this nigga slip. And like, you're like, what the fuck? This nigga was just looking like a gangster 2 seconds ago. Now the nigga slip on a banana peel talking about mommy. It's like, it's jarring. It's like, had he, like I said, had he did it differently, just be like, it's okay to ask for help and be a goat, but it's the way in which it was executed. A lot of people have an issue with.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the
Fish. I want to say something because Fish is talking in the chat, and I get what you're saying, and I agree that like it would have been totally valid for him to just be like, yeah, bro, you mad friendless for this. You talking about a dog that's been dead for 15 years. Oh, my dog is dead, head ass. But like, and I get why. It's like, you're right. Like, if he would have popped off on him like that, it would have been like, well, you do deserve to get flamed, Shiggy. You wild and you doing all this evil stuff.
And that would get a reaction from Shiggy as well.
But
big boulder body head in.
This also highlights like Mirio's intentions to be a hero come from a genuinely good place, unlike some characters. And so in his most desperate times, he's not defaulting to like malicious behavior because that's just not who he is.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with you that it would have like been strategic. This is actually one of those things that I've said about My Hero before, which is that I think sometimes Horikoshi keeps his characters to character, in character.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like where it's like, no, this is actually directly gonna kind of mess with something, but you're honoring the character in exchange for the setting, tone, or whatever of the scene. And so it's like he treats his characters as people a lot more than I think some writers do. Because it's a lot more rare for me to read a chapter, and I personally don't really ever come away with the feeling of, I can't see why this character would do that based on everything in their writing.
Mhm.
I never feel that way about the decisions characters make. Like I would have felt like
That's true.
Mirio was knuckling down if he had flamed Shiggy, but my brain wouldn't have been like, "Yep, that's classic Mirio." It would have been like, "Oh, damn, well, all right, Mirio." And I think a lot of times Hori wants you to feel like, "Yeah, this is who this is," more than like, "All right, well, damn, shit, Sean was good."
Sauteed brisket on the
'Cause
left
if-
side of his space head ass boy.
Because when you look at like Endeavor versus AFO, it's easy to look at the combo that he put on him after losing his arm and stuff. It's like, yeah, this was Endeavor really coming into his own. And in some ways it was. But ultimately, especially if you've read Vigilantes and you remember they're like, yeah, you know, Endeavor kind of got a history of being mad violent, you know. The second he started popping off like that, you like, this, that dog that everybody was talking about.
Yeah, Endeavor was like that in Vigilantes. He was crazy.
Like,
Yeah,
and
he's
so
rolling it all
Poor
out in the
Koichi.
right direction, though.
right. So it's like, and that's where, so it's like sometimes these characters get to be in character, and sometimes it creates moments for them like Endeavor versus AFO, and then other times it creates moments like Mirio being like, ting.
Well, I
And it's
will
like-
say though that I like that if a character can't do something, then the author, like Horikoshi, he doesn't like bend everything backwards for that
Mhm.
character to do that something. Like Mirio literally is not superhuman. He's just a guy at the end of the day. So like, what's he really gonna do against Nomu or Shigaraki? Like his options were limited from the start, and the author treated him that way. So at least in that regard, I appreciate it for like, scaling power and stuff.
Actually, well, I would disagree with the superhuman thing. He's definitely superhuman because the way that boy can move and the strength, he already got
Oh well, yeah.
he already got good fighting technique off rip, so that gives you a lot to just box regular dudes out on rip. But the way the tactics that he is able to catapult himself, like if Deku had just punched Shigaraki at base, like where he was at, I don't know how far Shigaraki would have moved. But the fact he slingshotted himself at the speed and rate that he did, it's essentially the same thing Mirio does when he catapults off the ground. So I think with his quirk base, he also has a lot of impact. I don't think it's just being because he can box with a normal and actually take a normal out. They just kept some of the normal around for once again Horikoshi always holding on because he always got to have a purpose for everything, and it helps that you know that, but it also is annoying as fuck. And MHA is like, "Alright, nigga, I know why you kept this around, but damn, I would have rather had it here at this point." But I'm gonna touch on that point later. But I agree with everything. I agree with everything you're saying. I'm just saying like he definitely a little bit more like I wouldn't call him just an average Joe. You feel me?
Oh no, I more meant like like in MHA, everyone is super competent with the tools available to them. Like, and that in itself is like its own superpower. So no, I agree. Like Mirio, obviously, he put in the work and he has the talent, and he made that quirk a really strong weapon to a superhuman degree. But like he himself doesn't like literally have the super strength or the durability or just anything to touch things. Like there is a visible wall for him, is sort of what I mean. And basically more or less everyone has those kinds of limits in MHA. Like for example, Aizawa also, and Shinso too, like they have the binding cloth, which is not a quirk, but they're just super competent with it to an impossible degree. So he'll have stuff like that, I think. But generally there's still like these hard limits around the place. And I appreciate that, okay, he's sticking to it with Mirio more or less.
And I'll say that almost all quirk-based individuals can develop a variant or like it's kind of like how in the boys, all the soups have at least some super strength, and then you just have like different levels to it for certain characters. It kind of seems like, with the way that Shinso and using the binding cloth and they're able to like support themselves and do the stuff they do, just having a quirk does raise your natural base physical potential, but your quirk still gives you a higher base potential depending on what it is and how it impacts your body than others. Like we've talked about previously with Bakugo's quirk, literally making his body super strong and durable naturally, like because he picks up Deku and throws him with just one arm and no explosions to do it during the second fight. And
That's just pure arm strength, man. That's 100% arm right there.
And we know that his shoulders, while firing off the gauntlets, have to be stronger than Deku's shoulders were at 5% around the time of final exams, just because Deku's shoulders straight up started to dislocate.
Yeah.
Whereas that doesn't happen when Bakugo is firing off his own gauntlets. So it's like we get this hard establishing, like you can up your physical limits, and just like the way that like Endeavor is like super buff, part of that is being able to throw these punches and having to have the physicality to counteract the raw thrust coming from the flames that you're generating. So it's like he has to be able to punch with that force, which is why you can kind of see him throw blows that actually send people flying. You have to be able to physically like offset the, you know, opposite force pushing you in the other direction. So
And that's an interesting point to bring up, because Shigaraki's body is in the midst of adjusting right now to these quirks. So yeah, there is definitely something to that. Quirk, you know, adjusts the user's body in the way that's not, you know, unbelievable, or you know, just so that you can use your quirk to the best of its ability.
and so and then when you look at, because I'm looking at what people were saying in the chat, and like, yeah, like Shigaraki's body, because it has to adapt to more and more quirks, the downside is that the longer it takes them to put him down, when that region eventually is going to get kicked back in because they're going to break the barrier or whatever the case may be, we're going to see them having to kind of deal with like an unbreakable Shiggy and how his body is going to adapt to that, which I do think that Shiggy's final form, like what we'll get after he goes through another transformation after this round, is going to be more in line with like the Shigaraki that we know. He might still have a bit of hands on him just because that's Shigaraki's like oldest design and stuff like that. But in general, we're going to be seeing far more streamlined Shiggy. I wouldn't even be surprised if he's almost kind of like built like a slightly slimmer Toguro type body, with the way like hands and stuff layer on his body, and that's what we're gonna get. But we kind of have to lean towards that efficiency, and then that's when we'll see like what's really gonna go down. And he might not, because the other thing that we could get for a stage 3 for Shigaraki is actually more of like a chrysalis form. And the reason I say that is because we have, you know, All for One on the way. We could get it where Deku starts applying pressure, doing some serious damage to this body, this Melvin body, and stage 3 is him trying to recover the damage without his quirks, and then Deku is fighting All for One. Because it would be a little odd, let's be real, if we don't get at least a little bit of Deku fighting All for One.
Do you think All for One's going to take on Monoma and Aizawa on the way there? Because
it's possible.
Like All for One, no, like first of all, he won't like rewind if they stop him. So it's kind of like you kind of have to take out the two stripes right there.
Okay.
I think it's inevitable, sadly, and I'm not ready for it. Aizawa just does not deserve to die. I don't think Monoma's going to die. Like, the narrative they set up was that, like, Aizawa, you're lame, you're in the back lines now, what's wrong with you? So I feel like if Shigaraki goes for them, Aizawa's going to take the hit.
So, all right. I think I've stalled long enough. Is everyone ready for East to show y'all why I'm the Archbishop of this series?
Is anyone ever ready?
Huh?
Nope.
You can say that. Now watch this. I hope y'all ready, because watch how I spin everything back into motion. This is gonna be good. So I've waited and waited. You said what?
I didn't get to do my opinion on Miriam.
Hold on. Wait, Squid. We got to get the rest of the story and we'll circle back. Don't worry.
No, go ahead. Let Squid say this first, because I'm about to.
Go ahead.
Ender, nigga.
Nah, go ahead, Squid. Say, tag what you got to say.
No, it's not that important. You do your story.
Nah, Squid, you say it.
It's gonna take me. I'm not gonna finish for a minute.
Look, all I'm gonna say is that, you know, there's many ways to be a hero, okay? Flexing that ass for the camera is one of them, okay? That's all I'm
Jesus,
saying.
let's move on.
All
No fucking more.
right. Let's go East.
Okay, y'all asked for this, and no, you do not have to turn your volume down. I'll let you know when you'll know when to turn the volume down. Don't worry, but for the most part, you don't have to. So, buckle in. It's time for you to spin this to show y'all why the Archbishop. Now, hold on. Before I go off, yeah, look who joined. Oh boy.
Yeah, and pause it.
Yo, guys, what up?
What up? What up? Yeah, let him go. Let him talk because I'm gonna be a minute. So that's why I need everybody get their shit off before I talk.
Oh, here. Ponzo, here. Quick, give your initial impressions of the chapter because Issa's about to go in.
Okay, good. Chapter was good. Was special. I love the fact. It was short, too short even. The fact that he had to use so many bubbles to. The fact that it was too short, using every panel that is good use to show what's happening, is kind of sad. I will say. I hope that Horikoshi go. I hope that he's fine. But yeah, the Mirio stuff. Man was working in front of Shigaraki. Man, what you can say? It is part of it is what Naruto did with Kaguya, but better, I will say. Yeah, it's what literally. So yeah, what it is good. The idea, the concept is really great. He is the man. Nirio is the man, So no, Deku arrived. So I can't wait to see what's happening next. So it is a good chapter. I had my laugh. A good laugh. And yeah, I can't wait to see what's next. So I will leave it to our Archbishop East now, and I will say thank you to all for listening to me and listen to Aniki and follow him. Like the video, subscribe. Love y'all.
Love you too, man.
Always got love for Ponzo. All right, East, it's your time.
Ladies and gentlemen, are we ready? Yes, we are. So let's finish this. Let's finish the story of the boy and the cat. If you haven't been caught up, I was telling a story about a boy and a cat, bit by bit, piece by piece. Do we know why I've done that? Some of you don't, and some of you do, but we'll get to that in a second. Chapter 4. If you haven't been caught up, this boy's cat was very sick on the verge of dying as he had to rush to the vet. Multiple instances and inconvenience happened along his way to getting his cat to the vet, which closed over the weekend. So along the way, chapter 1, he goes traffic jam because of a crash. Then he takes a detour through chapter 2. He gets a flat tire. It starts storming and raining. By chapter 3, he gets the flat tire fixed, but he crashes because he's speeding so much. Now into chapter 4, we get here and we resume the last chapter until the epilogue of chapter 5, right? So as we catch up with chapter 4, the boy is zooming. The boy is racing to get his fucking sick and dying cat to the vet before they close over the weekend, and his cat dies. The cat he loves oh so much, so true and dearly to himself, right? So as he's running, guess what happens? He runs into another man, and this other man, they bump into each other and they collide, and the cat falls into the street, and the man falls over down the street. And as the man gets up, my cat, where's my cat? He's searching around, he can't see. He sees the cat in the middle of the street, and before the cat is ran over by a speeding truck, his truck swerves out the way and crashes into the nearby building. And as that happens, guess what? The man runs to get his cat, and then guess what? He starts running again and running again and running again. And do you know what happens? He beats around the corner and he makes to the vet on time. He makes it to the vet, y'all, on time before the vet closed, or was supposed to close. Because guess what happened? In that time, the vet was actually going out for a coffee break, who was supposed to fix his cat. And guess what happened to the vet during that time? The veterinarian was robbed by the same man he ran into on the street. And do you know what happened after that? The woman was so distraught. She was supposed to do her police report, do the typical things, but guess what? Because of the instant that he ran into the guy and he knocked him over, guess what happened from that? Mm-hmm. She ended up thanking him for this coincidence, and they were able to work something out so that she took his cat in. Now, do you see what the point of that was at all, anybody? In this epilogue? And on the epilogue, his cat is healed. He lives his cat lives for another 10 years where he gets a family and the kids play with the cat. And, they all have fond memories. The cat was able
Isn't this an allegory?
Yes, it is. So if you don't know why I've been telling the story in bits and pieces along the time, it is no fucking different than the story of MHA. What has Aniki been saying this entire fucking time, ladies and gentlemen? He has been saying none of that. This is all real time. This has only been a 10-minute passage at the start of the arc. But for us, it's been months and months inside the actual story altogether. So as you see, the inconveniences the gripes that you have, the inconvenience that you have, and you see they don't line up. It seems like a bunch of random chaos and mismatched shit. Each delay that caused this man to happen, guess what happened? It ended up being in full circle, him running into the guy, stopping the guy, actually resulted in his vet, him getting his cat saved by the vet. Because had that not happened, she wouldn't have been in the headspace to help him with his cat. But all the delays, all the bullshit that happened came around, and everything happens for a reason. Do you know why I'm saying that? Everything happens for a reason. Because this guy, Horikoshi, has shown me throughout the story, everything happens for a reason. I can't tell you why. Why the fuck is Shigaraki getting a hold? Why does he not have his time? Why are we doing this shit with the hands? Why is he not here? Why does he not have his full quirks? How is Deku going to fight Shigaraki if he's stronger? Shigaraki's stronger than him, but Deku has 5 Jin. He can't keep up. He's not ready. Oh, Shonen, but that Shonen excuse doesn't work. If he can't match his speed, what is he supposed to do? He's on a back foot. He's going to get stomped. But guess what? Now you see it's not the hands he's fighting. It's not the amalgamation. Now Shigaraki has melded into a new form, a new tank form. And now that this has happened, now Shigaraki and Deku can have a clash head-to-head while giving Deku the shit that he needs. Right here, Deku the shit he needs in order to fight Shigaraki, get his little shine. But Shigaraki has to bounce back from phase 3, phase 4, and so on and so forth. The little pieces that add up that haven't made sense yet. Why are we here? Why is the headliner fight here? Because the headliner fight starting and stopping right here is crescendoing to the climax later on. All for one needs to come over here. But guess what? When everything comes to a head in the final act, that's when everything, I promise you, I swear to God, everything will be bulletproof. It will be solid. No matter the gripes you had with everything you had in this, when everything comes together, comes to a head, remember this. There are a lot of bits and pieces that need to come in. Mike and Spinner are down to fight because guess what? From Mike's perspective, that's the best friend that he has to hold dear and hold on to. For Spinner's perspective, he has to still get some weight in his arc, so he can't lose to Kurogiri. That's holding the villains, which Horikoshi is not did yet. So when Spinner collides with Mike, is the win, and they get Kurogiri. Kurogiri helps to fucking crescendo things in. When Toga pulls out twice the Sandman Parade, that gives twice the chance to come back with Shiki. People are constantly complaining Shigaraki needs to be saved by all of his fucking friends, correct? Right?
Hey,
the LOV is highly important to this character. People aren't banking on off one. Nobody cares about it. And people keep asking why? Why are the league not united? Why haven't the league stood together before the final battle? Ask yourself that, bro. Why didn't the league get 2 more chapters? What was the point in cutting all this off to come back in? Cutting all this off is just to come back in later on. When everything crescendos and all the pieces that have been placed out for you specifically come back and then crescendo in, I promise you, you will see the entire full picture. This is what I see right now. Listen, I'm not saying I'm the biggest fan of the fucking headshot shit or whatever, but I can see, guess what? If that's your agency for Bakugo having to have something later on, then he needs to have a whole lot more than just one little fight, bro, for just his character arc. Everything, I'm telling you, bro, you think I was finna say, man, this is, you know what a chapter goaded to me? Deku! No, not because he's here, nigga. I don't give a fuck about a nigga being here. I give no fucks. You know what I give a fuck about? It's the implications. And now that I see where the thread goes, bro, it's not that Deku shit down gas, because guess what? You think it's because it's Deku I am here moment, which you have placed. You notice I told you that story and you had no disappointment in story because you expected nothing from the story. You expect Deku's I am here moment to be this climax, big peaking moment. But whether that's not the intention that Horikoshi has placed onto us, right? What if this is not I'm here moment? Because he's not ready for that moment, bro. Because this is not the intention. Now, when we come back to it, whether I'm wrong or you're right, or I'm right, you're wrong, then we're gonna cross that bridge. But if I'm correct on my stance, and this was not the point in which you wanted to be, then your complaints are kind of nullified, right? Because guess what? There's still that moment to come. There's still the I am here. Guess what? Edge runner, bro. Nigga, Tanner shot to the Edge runner, had no expectations. He wasn't disappointed because he had no precedent for what to like. Edge runner. Y'all always talk about precedents and stuff that has to be said. Edge runner follows the rule of cool. It can do what it wants. Fully cool. You hop in there, you have no expectations. It can do whatever the fuck it wants to. It doesn't have to follow an ebb and flow. It's the expectations you place is because you're scared that the shit is ending, that you think you won't get what you have been fucking expectations. Like, I wanted the I am here moment. I wanted this, I wanted that, but now that it's over, it's all over. We never get anything else. That's the point, bro. It's not all over. You see, I have hope because there's no reason for me to lose faith. There's no reason to place my insecurities that somebody else has done. I might have gripes, I might have this, I might have that, but he's never shown me any reason to just falter and fall off. Well, I'm telling you, Time and time again, seeds have been planted, they've grown, and they've blossomed.
Oh my God.
When things come full circle, I promise you, once again, you will really see. And what if the promises made by Hori fell, East? What are those promises? Please show me, because if Deku doesn't actually win, what was the point of the I am here moment? Say the Soul Society, Kurosaki Ichigo. You talk about, oh, this didn't live up to the hype of other people's moments. What if it's not supposed to live up to the hype? Every other instance that you had like Deku's interests, didn't he always win the fight? So what is the time that he doesn't actually win the fight? What is the time when this happens, this character comes in and does that? What if Kurogiri comes in and that helps out Shigaraki advance more? The League of it, like I'm trying to tell y'all, this stuff that's not adding up is not adding up for a reason. Take your grievances with this thing like a Bakugo situation, that's different, and you're not liking the execution of that. But take the stuff that's not adding up. Don't lose faith. Question it. That's the point of questioning it. If the math not mathing, why are you taking the calculation, bro? Like honestly, bro, I'm trying to tell y'all from me to you, the math ain't mathing, right? But you're not putting the right equation in. You're not putting the right numbers in. Take this piece, put it there. Take that piece, put it there. And I promise you see what's coming. That's all you got to do, bro. That's all you got to do. I don't talk hot air on my ass, son. I got points. I got facts to prove it. I got 366 chapters that show me time and time again, bro. That's what I'm standing on. And I'm not going to turn my back and run till every little, oh, this don't look right. Huh? This don't look right. Huh? I'm going to stand my ground, nigga. That's what the fat lady is saying. Until I'm in the ground. Until you put the bullet in my chest, nigga. Till you put the bullet in my head, nigga. We ride until the end.
Wheels
Dead
fall
ass.
off.
Till the wheels fucking fall off. You don't know what that mean, bro? Till the wheels fall off, till we crash into the grave, till the fat lady head son, to that white-haired nigga, the king of destruction, the future prince, the future king. That nigga in the ground, I'm not changing my stance, bro.
Yo, he's
Folks, you
6
show me why I
feet
should change
deep,
my
10
stance.
toes
I'm not
down,
changing my
bro.
stance. Tell him again, bro. Tell him again, bro.
6 feet deep and 10
If you
10
don't
toes
got faith,
down.
what do you got, bro? If you don't got faith, just say that, fall back, take your heart elsewhere. Because me, I put all my shit in it. I put all my shit in it. Till the day I die. I ain't afraid to get hurt. Because with that pain come growth.
I'm letting East keep going. You going.
Stop placing the
Eastman Freud, you're
expectations,
going
bro.
crazy.
Stop placing the expectations, bro. Let it play out. You see how the Jets pulled up? Now, niggas who was surefire, oh, he about to get a villain fight. If it's not a villain fight, it's ass. Let the nigga do him, bro. Honestly, if anything, go ahead, take a break. Step off to the side. Step off to
Bro,
the
I
side.
don't know why people are so take a break phobic. They be like, what? Taking a break and possibly not being mad every Sunday and then getting to binge it later and possibly liking it more than I was week to week. You hate me. And it's like,
bro, there's a reason I despise this random nigga 10 years from now that's going to binge the entire series. He ain't going to have a single thing to worry about. You know what's going to happen when y'all over here arguing?
Reading. He gonna be reading.
He gonna be reading. You know, all this discourse.
Opening that book.
This, that, and the other.
Listen, he gonna be opening that book, looking at the words and shit, like the images. It's crazy.
also, yeah.
That's not what we're saying, or what you guys are saying.
Yeah,
This is that Twitter shit. Did I say that? No.
that's a whole other sentence, my guy.
Exactly.
That's what I said, bro.
I prefer pancakes over waffles, but do you hate waffles? No.
No,
Waffles are
Google, I do
just-
not want to change my name coming through, a proud long-term member. Just happened to say, Amen East, giving you that shout out for your speech.
Bro, I'm just telling you, watch the workaround. I promise you. How many times have y'all reworked and said something else?
Well, hold on,
Say one thing.
Alves. That's the other thing about that. Anybody who says Star's function was to nerf Shiggy can't read.
Exactly.
And I mean that seriously, because her actions caused him short-term pain, but long-term gave him what he needed to beat Quirk Singularity. So how the hell is anybody still saying Star existed to nerf Shiggy? if anything, it served to like mitigate, him getting a new order mid combat against Deku or some shit. Because let's be real, like if Star and Deku teamed up against Shiggy and he was about to get new order, and then he had that allergy attack like he did when he was just fighting Star, he's not leaving. Deku's just gonna beat the crap out of his swollen, hyperallergenic face. Like that's it. It's done. So when you look at the fact that Shigaraki's full progression beyond singularity was triggered by the Quirk Rebellion caused by Star and Stripe, and keep in mind, All For One with his fake copy has dealt with rebellious vestiges by seeing people with weak quirks rebel against them. Shigaraki is not. Ain't nobody been acting up yet. The only person who's been acting up has been another piece of his personality. The only person messing with Shigaraki's limits right now is Shigaraki.
Oh God.
He on his Kid Buu vibe right now. That man is just chaos incarnate.
Bro, for example, you know what I asked, bro? I was like, why is Horikoshi doing this little ugly hand thing? But you know what happened? Once again, placed on this chapter, his body is working around and metamorphosizing and doing all this shit in order to reach its optimal goal. At the time, the fit signal at the time, now it's taking a defensive mode because of all the bullshit he was going through, dealing with everybody, right? And being nerfed. Now, prior to that, his shit was going full-blown destruction, doing whatever it wanted to. Now, once again, I question a lot of things, bro. Like, okay, you sit Deku off to the side. Cool, I understand now. Now, why are we doing this hand shit? And I guess when now this hand shit has morphed into this shit. Now I understand. Now the tank form he has goes in with Deku having his speed form. Now it's like, and then like, why did Tinkle shit come back? I'm seeing, so it's like every little bit and piece is adding up into the culmination. Because remember, All For One's going to get Shigaraki, right? Spinner's also going to get Kurogiri so they can get Shigaraki. So like once again, like things are going to start. Look at the little tiny pieces. Like I'm starting to see the reasoning for everything and why it is the way things are the way they are now. I promise you, like, and one of the biggest things I promise you, and I'll hold money on when I don't bet, but I bet on horror. I'll hold money on is that twice shit is really gonna circle back, and that's the way we get that. What I've been waiting on more than anybody, but I know some other people had too. Because think about it. Night Eye was just brought up, but they ain't never referenced twice. Really like that? And you can't say he don't care or he forgot about that shit, because right before the war, he just mentioned, let's keep this sad man's parade going. I'm telling you, if you niggas just took the rest of the year off and you binge this shit completely, oh, son.
One of my favorite.
Treat your mind like Netflix, bro. Just binge shit.
My stance is like Hori's timing is not obligated to be the timing we wish for him to operate on. And what's more is I'm kind of looking back through now, and I'm trying to see how many chapters we've been without Deku. Because I think we might have hit like the 20 chapter mark, but I'm not sure. But to me, there's a reason why Horikoshi is willing to say, I don't need Deku right now. And part of it is, the strength of the cast in general. Let's see. March 6th was chapter 346.
The last time we saw Deku before this chapter was 357. That was when Deku was flying across the ocean and the first came in.
Yeah.
It was 357.
So yeah, basically we didn't really get, like, that was just like he's flying, guys.
Yeah.
And that's it. So yeah. The last time he's had an impact on the narrative or a moment that was like centered on the narrative was like 348. So that's kind of doing this, which one of the things that I think is kind of funny is that we mentioned how Dabi went Super Saiyan, but we didn't talk about how if you look at the way Fajin is cloaking around Deku, it also functions like a Super Saiyan aura.
Yeah, because thank God, because I was so mad. I was like, bro, I want to see this nigga go 100% full cow. Like, that shit is so fucking cool. But with Fajin, we get that.
So yeah, we got the Fajin aura, which again, which is also worth noting that I pointed out this is a phase 2. I want to draw some more Dragon Ball Z parallels here now, because we also have to factor in that Vegeta got blasted in the chest by Krillin and then was healed and came back. But so you got like Bakugo, who a lot of people like to compare to Vegeta, which I think that one's a little less offensive than some of the other comparisons. But we have like this weird time limit that we had to deal with, just like when Namek was going to blow up. We have everybody waiting. We have Deku showing up to use Fajin, and Fajin functions similar to Kaioken in that it's a multiplier that you can build up. So
very much, yeah.
We're really getting our battle on Planet Namek.
I mean, Hori said that he enjoyed Dragon Ball and he wanted the Star fight to kind of simulate Dragon Ball. So it's like that's not out of the realm of possibility to go, oh, this arc is basically the Namek section of that saga.
So let me point out like this too. Anybody, what happens when? Watch this. So right now, Shigaraki is fighting in this state, right? And this current, we'll call it tank mode Shigaraki, right? Is everybody cool with tank mode?
Yeah.
Tank O mode, right? So right now that means Deku has a shot at winning, correct? Like getting the edge off, getting a little good, holding up a good fight, and possibly winning, air quote, right?
He's got the chance to put some actual pressure on the field.
Yeah. Now that's because he's in tank mode, survival mode, but also, because Shigaraki's alone. Now he can do that because he doesn't also have all his quirks. Shigaraki has to use all his quirks eventually, because otherwise, what was the entire point of doing that? We just could have kept him with Decay. Aren't there also people going to free Shigaraki and help him out on his back foot too? Spinner also has to get a big narrative point, so he can't really lose his battlefield, or else that was all for shit, and that's no reason to be had anything. He's getting Kurogiri. Skeptic's in the thing, and he could track everybody down. Everything seems to be adding up to me that when that nigga get free and Deku's already gassed out and he's had his time to go shine and work and say a little day or whatever, everything once again will come to a head. Because guess what? If the day was supposed to be saved and Deku was supposed to be I am here, like Tyler said, why is it still raining? Why is the sun? And why are clouds in the sky? Because he didn't show up and the sun peeked through in the light of shining hope. He just showed up and kicked that nigga. And that was it. So once again, the atmosphere is not set. The mood is not set. And Shigaraki is not at his optimal state whatsoever. It's not just up on him. He has niggas in the back end too. But y'all keep forgetting how much. Go ahead and forget how much the league is important. Think the horror coaches don't give a fuck about them niggas. I'm gonna let y'all think that, because it's gonna be so funny to see when them niggas run it back and horror coaches run it back, especially for Spinner. Oh, that's gonna be fucking beautiful. When y'all niggas fucking turn heel. I'm be here for that.
My bro Spinner, he gonna be the MLK of MHA. Watch it, on God, it's gonna happen.
I mean, that's kind of the role he's being set up to play. Also, so I just looked at the past 6 chapters. If 361, 362, and 363 are adapted into an episode, and 364 through 366 get adapted into an episode, that's gonna be 2 really good weeks of television.
Oh, some heat, absolutely.
Because I know people don't like the edge shot stuff, but if you have 364, 365, 366 all in one episode, then
it's just a minute of just that happened.
You get, it's kind of like that happened, and in addition to that, you open up that episode with All for One, and then you finish out the episode with Deku arriving. So, and I expect them to kind of go crazy with that scene. There's just no way that arrival smash isn't getting done crazy. Which, if you want to make another Naruto reference just to be cheeky about it, he showed up in a green suit doing a flying kick, dynamic entry, Guy Sensei. Boom, you're welcome.
I hate how that's
thank you.
Thank you. That's accurate.
But yeah, I think we're kind of winding down.
Yeah.
Covered most of what we needed to say or how we felt
Yeah.
about it. Just giving it the once over real quick, just because I think this will be structured pretty well. But yeah, because we covered the forms, we covered where we think things are going to go. If we do get, I guess it's like kind of like the last chapter or like question for this chapter for next week, is that assuming if we stay here, are we all kind of in agreement that Deku's more than likely going to be able to apply a good amount of pressure to this defensive form?
Definitely.
Absolutely.
That's the entire point. To give him his moment before,
Before it gets tragic and Shigaraki starts either matching him in speed or tries to do more power. Or, enters a bigger transformation. Because, if he does a crazy ass chrysalis transformation, I wouldn't be mad about that. But yeah. All right, let's go around the horn, do final thoughts on the chapter. Let's start with Squid, final thoughts.
Okay, so I thought the chapter was pretty I thought it was fine. I didn't think it was something that, I would kill somebody over. But I thought it was good enough. The art went crazy the last four pages, though. That was wild. But I didn't personally find the scene of Muriel, shaking his booty meat like pancakes funny, but I guess the desperate times call for desperate measures. And ultimately, I just want to see Shoto get faded for round 2 and see his ass get beat. That'll be pretty funny. And I'll give this a 7 out of 10.
All right, Thomas, how you feeling?
I think I really like this chapter, especially the ending. I'm like Squid. I didn't find this moment egregious, but I did find it funny. So I'm the opposite of him. I enjoy Shigaraki's new.
Listen, man, $20 is $20.
Yeah, you're right. I like Shigaraki's new form. It looks straight out of Demon Souls or Elden Ring. Just the bone skeleton, but it's hands. He looks like a Yu-Gi-Oh character. I am really, 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 really happy Deku's back because I've been pining for him. And when the leaks came, if you check the server, the crackhead server, you'll see me freaking out about it. I was completely on cloud 9. When we got Deku's little kind of part at the end of the All For One chapter when he was rewinding, I got really upset because it kind of felt cheap. Now I get to see it, but I'm not mad if we do swap away to another battlefield next week at the very end of the chapter. I don't think I'll get upset about that because we will get a bit of Deku content, which is fine by me. I just really want to see what's happening on the battlefields, like Urarakas, Spinners, Gas Mask guys. I want to see what that villain we call Greninja is doing, or Ayama. I want us to move, mostly because I feel like everyone's getting sick of this area, and I don't want people's time to feel wasted. Although fuck them, Deku's back, and I think that's it. We have how many people in the stream, or at least watching? 43 people. We're at 32 likes. Make sure to like it all if you haven't, or like the stream if you haven't. Also, Deku's back. Fuck your favorite characters, and that's it.
All right, a very Irish goodbye from Thomas, which that's usually not how that's meant, but oh well. Seth, you there?
Yo, I'm here.
All right, final thoughts?
Yeah, sure. Actually, a lot of my thoughts mirror what Thomas said. I generally did enjoy the chapter. I actually found the moment funny, not like I said before, I just thought it was so funny seeing Mirio he's desperate for anything to land, and this is what he comes up with. It did for me, I will say. It was nice also seeing that recollection with Mad Eye. I think in terms of the future, I think all of that is like, the future prediction stuff. I'm just leaving that in Horikoshi's court. I don't really have any expectations one way or another, whether it's All Might or Mirio or anything, because all that kind of stuff is kind of, however Horikoshi's pen feels like, in terms of poetry. And oh yes, Shigaraki's new form is really cool. I like that a lot. Just seeing all the different ways that Horikoshi can draw hands is really entertaining. Like it just never fails. He always finds something. And of course, Deku, his entry, that was awesome. Artistically, I rated that as like the best one, I think. Like on Twitter, there was like this thing where it's like, of these four, what were the best or whatever. And it's like, yeah, I think this is like artistically speaking, the one that looks the coolest to me, in my opinion at least. Though my favorite goes to when he came in to rescue Aizawa, because that was just a really emotional heated minute. So yeah, I think this was a good chapter all around. I will say that East has a way with words. Always a pleasure to listen to. And yeah, I think in terms of like the criticisms that keep getting lobbed at MHA, honestly, I say it in good faith. If you're not feeling it right now, it's okay to step back. I think when you like something, you're patient with it, you're understanding with it, or something or someone, even, relationship advice. But it's okay to take a step back and see if it hits you different later. But anyways, yeah, this was a fun week and a fun chapter. So yeah, thanks for having me on.
All right, glad to have you on. Let's see, we got Fish, final thoughts?
This is a very interesting chapter, to say the least. I enjoyed, I want to say 99% of it, except for one moment, which I don't want to get back into again. But I'm curious to see if we do switch to another battlefield. I'm hoping we at least see Deku and Shigaraki go at it for a little bit, maybe a little dialogue. Then we switch over to somewhere else. And I really don't even care where we go because there's a lot of interesting moving points going on right now. So I'm interested in anything. I would prefer to see, I guess, Toga, see what she's going to do with Twice His Blood. And I don't know. I'm really, my one of the things I wanted to bring up earlier and I kind of forgot was when do people think we're going to see Deku using the second user's quirk, and what are people's thoughts on what that quirk is actually going to be? But I mean, I guess we could talk about that in another video or whatever, but I'm really interested in how this is going to play out. And Shigaraki getting his quirks back is going to be, I just don't think people are ready to see Shiggy with his quirks. Like if Erasure comes off, the real battle is going to begin. But I don't really have a whole lot to say in regards to this. It was a great chapter. I can't wait to, discuss this with you guys again next week or whenever the next chapter comes up.
I appreciate you being on, Fish. We always enjoyable guests to have on. So, Archbishop East,
Take us home.
take us home.
Okay. People, I read this chapter Friday. Didn't care for the chapter. Didn't care for the chapter. Coming up. Then I read it. I was like, what the fuck Deku doing here? Okay.
What's he
Still
doing?
sitting. Didn't feel like talking about chapter, so I didn't associate myself. I said, you want to know? You can DM me. Told a few people. And the more I started to discuss with people, the more I started to see something, right? More people was like, why is Deku here? What is this? What is that? You know what I realized when I kept saying this and I realized all this? Horikoshi writing a bunch of fucking mumbo jumbo.
He had a revelation.
All this bullshit, a bunch of mumbo fucking jumbo. Dabi and Shoto first. And Endeavor? All for one? The fuck? Why are we still in this battlefield? Bro, Spinner and them matter more. You could have put the headliners, like, you could have put Ioma versus Kunita verse. Cero? This shit don't matter for the narrative of anything, like, going forward.
He had options, good lord.
But the more I thought about it, I said, it's one thing to make a bad decision or bad mistake. It's one thing to lose your way. But for you to structure this entire thing and you choose what you choose, and knowing that you're the type of guy to not make any move willy-nilly or half-ass or just because you felt like it, I had to think. And I sat on, I pondered. I said, yo, why is this like that? And why is this like that? But I started seeing the pieces connect from A to B to C to D. And we start going through the fucking alphabet from here to there. All the components start adding up. All the pieces start lining up. And I started to see why you made this decision here, why you made a decision there, and so on and so forth. Kept asking, how is Deku supposed to survive against Shiggy? If Shiggy got all his goddamn quirks, he just gonna regen and do everything. And how he gonna do this and how he gonna do that? Guess what? The question has finally been answered. Shigaraki still doesn't have his quirks, but he's used the optimal state. And now Deku is gonna have his. But how is Deku gonna go fight Shigaraki, beat him again, and it be satisfying? Shigaraki got his ass beat last time. Well, take it from here. Now that Shigaraki has this state, Deku can get his little time to shine. Shigaraki can evolve once again because he's getting nerfed. And from there,
he can shine.
From there, this happens, this happens there. As I start thinking, as I start connecting, the pieces line up and it starts to add, and I see these revelations. I see it, bro. I see the bigger picture. This is why it's like, I understand you're not feeling it here and there. I have my griefs. I wasn't feeling bad for either. But as time goes on, as I look at this piece, that piece, and I connect it, and I know that he has a plan, he has a vision, and there is a future shining bright in the distance, then I know that at the end of the day, no matter what I feel or how it dragged out, if I just sit there, if I just hold tightly, at the end of the day, at the end of the tunnel, there will be something worth the wait. Remember the boy and the cat. What the fuck was the point of the story? What the fuck was the point of this? What the fucking point was that? At the end of the day, everything happens for a reason. This is fucking like analogy for life or whatever, bro. Like, once again, things add up. Things make sense. Why is this here? Why is that there? Why did you do this? Why did you do that? As the pieces start to connect, I start to see it. I start to see the vision. I start to feel it. And you can too, bro. I'm telling you. Follow the path, bro. Open your eyes, open your heart. If it's not clicking for you, take your break. We've established already that on a binge, this shit is immaculate. I promise you, if you just take your break, bro, you come back at the end of the year when it don't end, or we get the second portion of the story, you will be so much more happier than you are now. Stop putting yourself in a situation in which you suffer and it is the benefit of the gain of nobody else. It don't help you. It don't help Hori. It don't help anybody. But you just look like a nigga Nancy, where you can place yourself outside the situation. Do better for yourself. I want better for you. Don't you want better for yourself?
Do you want better?
Exactly. So I just want y'all to know, man.
I need you to hear it.
I appreciate y'all, all right? It's the volume downtime, by the way. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all. Okay? And even though we are here, even though through dark times, we may trip, we may stumble, we may even fall. I promise you, if you get up, if you look at that light at the end of the tunnel, if you look there and you keep pressing forward, dust the mud off your face, dust the mud off your boots, dust the mud off your shoulders, get the dirt, grab the hand of me, and I will lead you to nothing but victory at the end of the light, at the end of the tunnel. I promise you, as I take it all off, as we run forward into the light, into the victory, there's nothing else that can stop us if we hold on faith and we hold on tight. There is no good night. There is only a future where the light shines bright, where the sun is the highest in the sky, and you and me and all my niggas gonna fly. I want you to know, appreciate you for coming to this shit, or a coach to get to quit, nigga. If you don't know who I am the nigga that's the greatest of the gram. I am undefeated at the East, baby. What it do? And I appreciate y'all for coming to the Church of MHA. Shout out to you.
Now we're going in this like a Tyler Perry movie with like the gospel singing at the end. Is that how we're gonna do it?
No. But I appreciate everybody that came through today. Shout out to Squid, Thomas, East, Seth, Almighty Fish, and even Fonzu, who popped by for a little bit. Appreciate y'all for coming through.
Listen, I do choir, man. I know how to work a gospel. I know how to do this.
Shout out to everybody who came through in the chat, from Who Changed My Name to Nafisa, who got in at the end, Tanisha Greer, Thomas Washington, Jalen Bexley, all my people. I know Jay Michaels Holmes is in here. Alves is in here, man. Mega Karibo, Solo, me. Just a lot of the class
602
showing up. Yep. See. I'm seeing somebody named Fang in here. He was being active. I don't know if you hear a lot, but Amir Strother. So I appreciate everybody. Kier Pookie. And I know there's a lot more, y'all. Yep, Chris Brown too. Can't forget that. And I can't forget Google. I do not want to change my name. You've been a long time member. I appreciate you. Man, just everybody. I'm looking forward to the next chapter. whether we spend a little time with Deku verse, handsy hand, Shiggy version, or if we, you know, do a bit of globe trotting. Either way, I'm down for it. So if you ain't like the stream already, go ahead and do so just to give that love. That's it. That's the church today. We out.